Hello everyone, we're in Sunderland Cemetery this evening. I think it's about half an hour before the sun goes down, so I just thought I'd have a little tour of Sunderland Cemetery. I'm going over to that direction because I don't think I've done a video yet over in that area, which has got a lot of interesting headstones. But just on the way up, I noticed this epitaph, which I don't think I've seen before. And this is the burial ground of William and Isabella Charlton, and it's in memory of Thomas Megison Charlton, the much beloved and only son of the above, who died February the 7th, 1863, aged 21 years. And the epitaph is, "Dread not to see me dying, though still in youthful bloom, we all alike soon hasten to mingle in the tomb. Why should ye dread the parting? That hour to all must come, and Jesus bids me quickly to join his heavenly home." Quite a deep epitaph. That reminds you a bit of some Emily Dickinson poetry. But my main reason for the visit this cemetery this evening is this particular side, because I've been over there a couple of times, and one headstone I want to start off with is for a brave man who is buried here. As you can see, it's another one where all the railings have gone past. This, I might need to be torch for this one, is in loving remembrance of William J.L. Watkin, mining engineer of Pemberton near Wigan. He was 30 years old, who lost his life on Thursday the 11th of October 1877 whilst endeavouring to save the lives of those of his workmen who perished in the explosion at the Pemberton Colliery. And his sun went down at noon. There is but a step between me and death. That explosion at that particular colliery, I think it was 36 men died, with William J.L. Watkin being sort of responsible for the colliery. He and two of the men had to go down, and there was some afterdamp in the pit, and he lost his life. He had ties to Sunderland, and he was brought back to Sunderland station. There was a large crowd met his coffin, and he was brought here for burial. I believe he was from over the Staindrop area originally, but even if you were the colliery manager or the underviewer and so on, if there was a disaster, you generally had to go get involved in it and try and save the men. Out of that casualty, if I remember, out of the first 29 of the men who died, I think there's 29 widows were left, and there was 54 children without a father, just out of the first 29 of them. I don't think I've ever read this one before. That was for William Patterson Ridley, Master Mariner. Good northern name, Ridley. I've never actually read this particular one. Let's see. That's a bit better. It's a shame because that looks quite a long epitaph. Again, this is in a prime position between the both of the cemetery chapels at Sunderland Cemetery. This one, if you notice, is traditional. Graves are facing east. Over there. Oh, this is an old one. Sacred to the memory of James Crosby, his son Thomas, and greater part of his ship's company who were lost at sea on board the Lapwing. 18th September 1818. So another shipping casualty. It mentions his wife who died 1824, and she was buried in Sunderland churchyard. This cemetery was built, I think it was opened in 1855 or 1877, and it covered a lot of the area that Sunderland churchyard used to. Very autumnal. And this is one which is quite rare, as it's actually a metal headstone, some form of metal. And if you have a look, some sort of caterpillars, ants, ladybirds all over it. You can find out who's actually buried here if you go to the burial records. That looks like members of the Young family. See, a lot of them mention, when you look at these headstones, not everybody mentioned is actually buried here, and that even tells you. And it mentions that husband of the above is buried in Sunderland churchyard, which is the old East End one. If you ever see any names on any of these, which are like before 1855, 86, it was generally people who were buried in old churchyards of the Guild Cemetery. You could spend all day in here just doing some of the stories. I like this one because this one we get an address. So, in affectionate remembrance of Anne, the beloved wife of John Harrison of 1 Derwent Street, Bishop Wearmouth. So, how many times you would have probably been down Derwent Street? She lived here and she died in 1872, aged 75. Robert Burns. Good Scottish name. It mentions lots of the family members on there. Wives, daughters. There's one I wanted to have a look at, which is this one. I think that's pots. There were so many pots in Sunderland. So many different branches of, some of them not even related, just such a common name. And there's another mention. Mentions the person is that can't be right. Jane Potts, sister of the above, who died November the 12th, 1844, aged 112 years. I can check that out on Durham Records quite quickly. Interred in Bishop Wearmouth churchyard. That's the minister. That does look like 112 years. What's the name? So I'll go and check that out afterwards. Jane Potts, 1844. Be able to find out. I'll put a note on the comments on YouTube about that one. Actually, thousands of people buried in these couple of wards. As you can see, it's like the vault, the fencing around the family burial ground. There would have been a lot more of these, but obviously they were taken down during the war. So one family would own this particular small burial ground, and so you could probably, if you think 1, 2, 3, 4, probably fit 10, 12 members of the family in there. Sometimes when some of the churchyards closed in the town, such as East Holy Trinity, St. Peter's, they stopped allowing people to be buried in the churchyards where these new cemeteries opened. But if they had like a family burial ground, this is what I mean by a family burial ground, they could still be buried in there if they got permission. There is one over here somewhere that I want to try and find. It's at the surname, I think that's Rackley. I've come across that surname before. Thomas Coupland. The one I'm looking for is for members of a Dutch family. I think this might be over here. I'll go over here then I'll work back to the cemetery chapel. For anyone who doesn't know where we are, who's not from Sunderland, this is Sunderland Cemetery in Grangetown. Probably about 3/4 of a mile away from the North Sea, east facing, one of the three main cemeteries of the city of Sunderland. Some of these are a bit more younger than the ones over close towards the cemetery chapel. How's it gone? I'll show you this one here. There's a squirrel over there, keep an eye on this. I think this is the largest memorial in the whole of Sunderland Cemetery. That's for members of the Briggs family. I think he had something to do with owning Hilton Castle at some point. I might be wrong. Somebody will know. Again, out of all the Sunderland cemeteries, this is probably the one which has got the most of these family burial grounds. Look at the size of that. I think there's some old ones down here as well. Just gonna have a look. Nice little ornate design. This is an older one, erected by Elizabeth Gale to the memory of her affectionate husband John Gale, mariner, who died December 24th, 1860, aged 30 years. Much respected, the sweet remembrance of the just shall flower while they sleep in dust. I love the old lettering. How's that one going? I think out of all the large Sunderland cemeteries, this is the one which I've come across the most mariners, probably because it's a connection to Grangetown, Hendon. I always say there's some things I've never noticed before. I don't know what creature is that. Looks like a walrus or a seal. As always, I can't find the one I'm looking for. What a grand name that is. Burton Brown, who departed this life in 1875. Respected and beloved by all who knew him. Richard Clifford, who died at Moor Hill Lodge. That's got like the curtain coming down on life. is a son of the Edgley family who was killed in action at Arras, France, April 21st, 1917, aged 31 years. William Patterson, a pilot, another connection to the water, or the sea, or the river. Probably another good another pilot. In memory of Fairley Downs, that's probably another case where somebody's used a family surname to give them as a Christian name. Oh, Lutert, I believe, from memory, I think he was Prussian, and the family might have had that I think it's called the Ship Inn on the bottom of High Street West. Didn't even know. And here is a George Scrafton who died December 30th, 1869. One of my friends, Mr. Yule, if he's watching this. He's probably already got a picture of that one. It's members of the Nielsen family. Still, what's that, 1862? I think that's still in good consideration. Good nick, I think. I can't remember what that proverb was. I have researched that headstone. I think it's something to do with a mother, being a good mother, for that one. I'm going to head round to the road and I'll bring it to an end. It's the member of the Dudson family. Master mariner, father of the above, who died at Shoreham on the 11th of January 1834. We always say a lot of these headstones remember mariners who died away from Sunderland. That's a ship owner. Farewell, my friends, my life is past. May you and I unite at last. Don't mourn for me, nor sorrow at, but love my family for my sake. So there's master mariner and a ship owner, father and son. And this grand one is for members of the Ritson family. Had shipping interests in the town. Right, I am going to bring this to a close as I think it's starting to drizzle on a little bit. It's getting dark. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, and if you wish to, click on the subscribe and you'll get future updates of any videos I do. So thank you very much for watching.